For this example, we want to write a function called find minimum. It receives 3 arguments, and the function prints the minimum of those 3 arguments. Obviously, the arguments that we need to supply are numbers, either integer or float. And the basic algorithm to find minimum or maximum is basically the same. We assume the first number is minimum or maximum, depends on whether we are looking for minimum or maximum. And then we compare that minimum with the rest of the numbers one by one. Every time that we see a number that is greater than maximum or smaller than minimum, we need to update minimum and maximum. Once we get to the last, to the end of the numbers, then we automatically have minimum and maximum in our variable stored. So we just need to look at that variable. So let's define the function find min. It receives 3 arguments. Let's just say num1, num2, and num3. We assume the first number is minimum, and here we just have 3 numbers, so we don't need to basically use a loop. We can just do it with 2 ifs. But if they have more numbers or we don't know how many numbers, we obviously need to use a loop. So what we need to do is we just compare min number with the rest of the other 2 numbers, and every time that we see a number less than minimum, we need to update min number with the new number. So we just say min number is greater than num2. Then what we need to do is say, hey, our assumption that min number is minimum is no longer valid. We can add another if to compare min number with the third number, and again we do exactly the same thing. If min number is greater than num3, then we just need to update min number. And finally, we can just print then inside our program, we can just inside our main program, we can just call find min, and we need to supply 3 arguments for num1, num2, and num3. So we can say any random number, 5 to, for example, 8, and we forgot the colon in here. So let's do it again, and the minimum is 2. If you change the order, let's say 8, 5, 2, should see the same result. Again, another order, 2, again, the same result. So again, if we have more than 3 numbers, or if we just want to use loops, we don't know how many numbers, we basically put this if inside a loop and keep repeating that. And once the loop is done, by processing each basically number that we have in our string of numbers, in the collection of numbers, after the loop, we automatically have the minimum number stored there.